604 Talk 1073 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you. John LaBeouf producing. We are starting you off in the 40s, 49 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. What's happening, y'all? Getting ready for a Tuesday show. Tuesday show is kind of all over the place a little bit. We're going to pardon a crawfish. No, we're not going to pardon a crawfish. We're going to talk to Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, who's going to pardon a crawfish. We're going to talk with our Chief of Police, TJ Morse. We are going to talk with the Baton Rouge Area Chamber. We are going to talk with State Senator Rick Edmonds because it is budget time. We're going to talk with Jeff Crouere coming up later on this hour. But before we get to any of it, we got top stories and trending. Let's roll.
Number 5.
Since Broadmoor Middle School's closure back in 2019, vandalism has plagued the school. It's become an eyesore for residents now. East Baton Rouge Parish School System is ready to revamp it by turning it into an esports arena and multiplex gym. School officials say with over 50 esports teams in the city parish competing monthly, the enhancement will provide more space to host drone tournaments for students. It'll also provide STEM programs as well.
Number 4.
A second student allegedly connected to the hazing deaths of Southern University student Caleb Williams was taken into custody in West Baton Rouge Parish, officials said. Our news partners at WBRZ, their investigative unit, learned that Kyle Thurman was arrested by U.S. Marshals and BRPD. He'll be booked for felony hazing. You can expect a third arrest later on this morning.
Number 3.
Louisiana set to expand its second black bear hunting season in 2 generations, with 26 total permits to be granted. 2 more areas open to hunters in 2025. Last year's inaugural hunt in December was exclusively in the management area number 4, and 10 bears were harvested.
Number 2.
One person was hurt in a shooting along North Donmore Drive on Monday night. Officials said the shooting happened near the corner of North Donmore and Rembrandt Avenues shortly before 8 p.m. First responders said the victim was taken to a hospital with serious injuries.
Number 1.
Looks like Aaron Morgan is going to serve 120 years in jail. Well, he's been sentenced to 120 years in jail for his bloody rampage back in 2021. Y'all might remember back in August of 2021, 32-year-old Aaron Morgan killed his grandmother and wounded 4 more, including his mother, in a rampage that he stabbed his grandmother to death, injured his mother, and then crisscrossed South Baton Rouge, leaving 3 more people wounded in gunfire that ended when he was shot and taken into custody. That was back in August of 2021. He was sentenced yesterday. What's trending, John?
Well, Monday brought a huge cyber attack on Twitter, now X. Of course, X owner Elon Musk said the attack generated from Ukraine.
Saw that.
And that was according to IP addresses apparently coming from Ukraine.
Yeah, and he said they get attacked all the time, but this one was a lot more sophisticated. But here's the thing: I didn't notice the difference. Like Twitter was never. They said Twitter was down intermittently throughout the day. I'm on Twitter a lot, or X was down a lot during the day.
Right.
I'm on there a lot, and not while I was there.
Wow.
So good work getting back up and running, I guess.
Yeah, apparently affected 20,000 users, and then nearly 40,000 reports and 20,000 users. So, wow. Yeah, well, good. You weren't affected by it.
Yeah.
Uncertainty on the trade and tariff front continues to take its toll on the stock market. Monday, the Dow Jones fell 2.1%, and the S&P fell another 2.7%.
S&P is supposed to bounce back today.
Okay.
I'm keeping a close eye on that. I mean, everybody is, but they're like doom watching. You know,
of course,
everybody, all the news is doom watching the stock market right now, which
rightfully so, right? I mean, especially if you're invested into it.
Yeah, but it's more importantly, there's a major shift in how business is being done. The tariffs that are proposed out there, the stock market likes consistency. Stock market likes assuredness that what's coming tomorrow is the same as what came yesterday.
That's right.
That's how they can always stay one step ahead of us, right? Yeah. Well, this is a lot different. So,
hey, another day, another earthquake story is trending. This time, a 3.0 magnitude quake hit Monday morning, 50 miles south of San Antonio.
Wow. Okay. So
all right,
is that all the way into Mexico, or is that like right on the border?
it's close.
Yeah.
It is close.
Not really used to a whole lot of
Like
earthquakes in
earthquake
Texas.
activity.
I know we have them. I just not as often you read about those stories.
Yeah.
That is a look at what's trending this morning. We're at 6:10 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We do need to check sports in just a little bit. It's all Saints news today, y'all, and not all of it's bad, believe it or not. Some good news coming for the Saints. Before we take our break, though, got to remind you about the folks over at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website, FlyBTR.com. If you want to check out everything involving, arrivals and departures, where you get your flights to, where flights are coming in from. I can tell you right now at Baton Rouge Metro, this morning they're already off and running. Dallas-Fort Worth has already taken off. The flight to Atlanta has departed as well. Washington, D.C. is up next, leaving at 7 o'clock this morning. And then 20 minutes after that, a flight to Houston, Texas. And then, boom, the regularly scheduled flights start moving out to about every 15, 20 minutes after that. A lot going on at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. If you wanted to check out flybtr.com to learn more about different passenger services they offer up, learn more about the flights, get the latest on their news updates, press releases, newsletters, the whole thing, and just learn about BTR as our airport in our backyard, giving us an option to not have to haul all the way, an hour down the interstate if you want to fly somewhere. It's a better overall option because it's here. You save time, you save money when you take into account all the different contributing factors, not just the price of the ticket itself, but everything that goes into it. And of course, that daily flight to DC and back every single day. FlyBTR.com. Quick break. We got sports next.
David asks, is the broadcasting problem y'all had fixed? I mean, I catch it. I catch 107.3 fine. I don't know. Do you?
Oh, shit. Yes. No, we're back up to full power.
Oh, okay. Cool. Perfect.
I meant for that to be the number one story.
Yeah.
Can't make you want to be active. Jesus. .615 Talk 107.3 FM at WBRP on this March 11th, or 3/11 as it were. Well done, John. We'll hear that all morning long.
Yeah.
Big week is sports time. We got a bunch of Saints news this morning. Let's go ahead and start off with the big news. Chase Young is staying in New Orleans. This came out late yesterday. Adam Schefter was the first to report it. The Saints locked up Young for a 3-year deal. How do you lock up Chase Young when you're looking at so many salary cap issues? Don't know, don't care. Don't know, don't care. Keeping him right here. He performed well last year. He had that, the 1-year contract to kind of prove it to the rest of the NFL that he was good to go. And well, when it all came down to it, he ain't going nowhere. He's staying right in New Orleans. So if you are going to have a mid-tier quarterback, you need a top-tier defense. And the Saints are definitely working towards that as best they can. I know the salary cap issues are going to continue to be problematic, but Kellen Moore putting his team together, and Chase Young, that's a big get for the Saints. Kellen Moore put his team together now that he's got his coaching staff together for sure. Coaching staff set for 2025. Of course, Moore is the head coach. This is the 36-year-old's first head coaching job in the NFL. He was on offensive coordinator for the Eagles last season. Just get yourself a Super Bowl win and then kind of stay in the same town where you won the Super Bowl to pick things up there. Moore says he's working to build relationships with both his players and his fellow new coaches.
You're really excited when you get to team up as a group, certainly on the coaching staff, guys who have kind of come from a lot of different spaces around the NFL and college football as well. And so now it's about us just connecting and building that togetherness. And so any chance we get together, whether it be a workout, whether it be dinner, Pelicans game certainly last week, we'll just keep trying to grab opportunities as we find situations to do that. And obviously that'll coincide when the players show up as well.
Pelicans game last week? Oh, no. I mean, you're bonding over losing already? That doesn't bode well for the Saints. I'm just kidding. Moore's two coordinators are offensive and defensive coordinators or coaches that he had worked with in the past. Of course, Doug Nussmeier on the offensive side was the Eagles quarterback coach last season. He says his experience in Philadelphia was amazing, especially how everything culminated.
It was a great year. Get the chance to live in the Northeast for the first time in my life. Never been into Philly. Wonderful people there. Wonderful experience there, obviously. To end the way it ended there was outstanding. And then, like I said, to have the opportunity to come back here to New Orleans, be a part of this organization. Been blessed.
Meanwhile, on the defensive side, in 2023, Brandon Staley was the head coach of the Chargers. And Moore was his offensive coordinator in New Orleans. Those roles reversed organizationally. Staley now serving as DC. Staley says Moore is the real deal as the head coach.
I think he's a winner. I think you go back as a coach's son and playing at Boise and playing in the NFL, and what he's done as a coach in the NFL. I've had to compete against him a lot. We've coached together, and then to see what he did this year with Philly was just really special.
That Chase Young news is just, to me, I am the eternal optimist when it comes to the New Orleans Saints. Can't help it. I want hope to spring eternal every single year. You come out of the offseason, and every team is 0-0. And this Saints team in particular seems to have a ton of negative press. And it's the same negative press, just on repeat. It's like repeating the same negative press over and over again. It's all revolving around Derek Carr and the salary cap issues. So a Chase Young, a pull like that is, to me, a bit of a game changer, because it's something positive that it's that silver lining, if you will. Something positive that, as a fan, if you don't want to be a pessimist, you can look at that and have a level of optimism. Hey, LSU baseball is back at it tonight. 6:30 p.m. your first pitch. They are hosting Xavier in the box. That'll be on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. Pregame, of course, will begin at 6. Meanwhile, over at Tiger Park, they get started a little bit earlier than that, as Beth Torina's Tigers, who Beth Trainers Tigers, who are 23-1 overall. They are their last tune-up before conference play is tonight as well. 6 p.m. versus UL Lafayette. Also, also at a home game. LSU softball will be hosting Kentucky this weekend, and you'll hear it right here on Talk 107.3. Here's a Fox Business Report. Oh. We went through a recession 2 years ago, and the news never even freaking reported on it. All right, let's head on back to the Shawbills Tire Traffic Center real quick, see what we've got going on this morning. Relatively light morning, a very light morning, in fact. You're going to find your normal volume on I-12 westbound coming in from Denham Springs, starting back around Range Avenue. It's actually slightly heavier than normal, if you want to put any kind of name on it at all. And it picks back up again after Range. Your speed picks back up after Range, but you will slow down again as you approach Sherwood Forest Boulevard, and then it's intermittent until you get to the 10-12 merge. I-10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish looks great right now. 10 eastbound coming in from West Baton Rouge looks great. Both bridges are wide open as well. On your surface streets, let me hit refresh on my screen real quick before I give this the all clear. Nope, we do have the all clear. All right, nothing working on the surface streets right now, so you are good to go on your drive this morning. That's your look at traffic from the Shawbills Tire Traffic Center. .624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We got Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics, coming up about 10 minutes from right now, 12 minutes from right now, if I want to be 100% accurate. Before we get there, though, a couple of different news items we got to touch on. One of those is Actually, before we get into any of the news items, let me do a little housekeeping internally. If you are tuning in the outskirts this morning, you are no doubt hearing us. We are back to full power. So if you got us plugged in on Facebook or plugged in on the app right now, and you were about to hit the road, about to get into your morning commute, know that we're there for you. Back to full power. I got word yesterday that our transmitter is back up and running. Everything should be good to go. So thank you for fighting it out with us. This was quite the slog, and it's sometimes it's inevitable that things break, and it's just a matter of putting them back together and getting back out there. So shout out to our chief engineer, Bo Wegman, and the work that was done through TSG as well to get us back up and running. Longer than we would have liked, but we'll take it. As long as we're back, we'll take it. So once you're out of the house and into the vehicle, go right back to 107.3 on your dial. This story about the Constitutional Amendment number 2 that's coming up on your ballot on Saturday. Moon and I talked about this a good bit yesterday, and I don't necessarily have a take on it yet. I want to hear more about the potential effects and how easy it could be to change things. We've got a number of religious leaders that are pushing back on this one. Louisiana churches and quoting from WBRZ's website, Louisiana's churches and nonprofits are currently exempt from paying property taxes, but some religious leaders say they're worried that language in Constitutional Amendment 2 on the March 29th ballot could change that. During last year's special session on tax reform, Governor Jeff Landry encouraged lawmakers to remodel the state's tax code. State Secretary of Revenue Richard Nelson said Amendment 2 is the product of some of those changes. Quote, as part of what we did was take out the property tax exceptions, which currently have to be in the Constitution. Taking property tax exemptions out of the Constitution would allow the legislature to vote to remove them entirely with a 2/3 vote. Tony Spell, pastor of the Life Tabernacle Church, which we all got to know him real well during COVID when, all the other churches had to shut down except for his. Spell hosts a variety of events on his church's property, and he says if the amendments pass, everything except the actual building where services are held could be subject to property taxes. Former State Representative Woody Jenkins agrees. He says if lawmakers are given the option, they'll slash exemptions for churches and nonprofits. All right, and here's where I completely disagree with Woody Jenkins, because you show me the politician who's going to go out of his or her way to vote in a 2/3 majority. If you show me 2/3 of the state legislature stepping up to say that property taxes need to be paid on houses of worship, that is political suicide. Absolute political suicide to do that. You literally have a pulpit to speak from to talk everyone out of voting for said politician in the future. Woody Jenkins says, quote, we have had constitutional protection for churches, all of their activities, nonprofits forever. Jenkins said, there's no reason to remove that protection from the Constitution. Now, a state leader who supports the amendment told WBRZ he has no intention of ever cutting funding for churches. And like we said, the vote is coming up on March 29th. If we find a way to derail the rewriting of Article 7 of our state's Constitution, this is such a Louisiana move. If we find a way to bring to a halt the train that's running that started with 3 special sessions and a regular session last year, where we have our state legislature working to move, as our state's economic development director says, at the speed of business. If we find a way to bring that to a halt over something that could maybe possibly happen, we deserve all the bad things in the world we get. If we find a way to bring everything to a screeching halt when it comes to opening it up for the possibility to have more cuts throughout our state government that don't just come from healthcare and higher ed, if we find a way to bring to a screeching halt all the momentum and tax reform that knocked our state income tax down to 3%, we bumped the sales tax back up a little bit. If we ever want to see that come back down, we have to cut things within the budget. In order to cut things within the budget, we need Article 7 rewritten. We talked with Dr. Stephen Procopio from PAR about this not too long ago. And the way he broke it down, this is going to open up doors for us. If we find a way to shut all those doors just as a matter of what maybe might possibly could happen. I don't know how state legislators get back up and do it again every day. To see this much work be done and have this thrown in their face to where now that's a possibility that everything they're working for, it might have to go back to square one. We got news, traffic, weather coming up. Man. All right. I got caught by the clock right there. When we come back, we'll talk with Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. I will tell you before we hit our news there that you know what? I'm looking at the clock. I don't even have time to tell you about Vex European right now. We'll hold off and do that in just a minute. Right now, let's get ABC News here on Talk 107.3. I'm used to that being a minute fast. And I was looking over at you and I'm like, this doesn't add up.
Now you're on time and you're like, wait, what do I do with this clock?
Good morning, Christy. Welcome in, sweetheart.
So I know everyone's been wondering. So I did the homework for everybody.
What?
Firefest looks like it might not be happening.
Damn.
Though tickets are on sale, some officials claim that this event doesn't even exist. Mexico says that Firefest, like, they don't have any bookings for it. They don't even hear about it. But yeah, this guy's claiming like
I love
tickets
it.
are available. What is going on?
Restaurant.
Uh-huh. Oh.
Restaurant.
Oh.
Look at that warming trend today, and the temperature's got a ways to go before we get to today's high. Here with your forecast is WBRZ meteorologist Emma Kate Cowan. I think my Advocate subscription and my NOLA.com subscription are now separate. I guess I can't get to any of the stories I went to with Jeff. 637 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We're at 46 degrees to start off your morning in downtown Baton Rouge. Every Tuesday we check in with Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics down in New Orleans. We do that now. Jeff, how are you, man?
Hey, good morning, Brian. Doing great.
Good Mardi Gras for you?
Yeah, it was a great Mardi Gras. We had a beautiful weather. I mean, it was really, except for, here and there, and except for Mardi Gras Day, where they went weather crazy and canceled everything. It was really fantastic as far as the weather, the crowd. Really a very successful Mardi Gras.
That's such a tough call too, because in hindsight, it looked like they might have been a little premature in canceling everything because the weather ran a little bit later than everybody was thinking it was going to. But I mean, when you have those kinds of logistics and those kind of people outside, you got to err to the side of caution, right?
Right. Back in the day, of course, they would have never done that.
No, I know.
I mean, you would have gone out there and, taking your chances. And, I mean, they could have gotten in the ride. They didn't have to cancel anything. But they did, and I understand why, because there's word about, safety. So the silver lining is that in Jefferson, on Sunday now, you're going to have down Metairie Road, Crew of Argus, and the St. Patrick's Day Parade, which is always a big deal for Jefferson together, and that's never happened before. So that'll be a little treat for the people in Metairie.
Yeah, having Mardi Gras parades down the Metairie Road route. Are you going?
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, we live very close to Metairie Road, and always the St. Patrick's Day Parade is just a fantastic event. And now you're going to have two, and it's going to be a sort of a all-day deal, and it'll be huge crowds for that. So,
All right, then I need to hit you up because I'm in it.
Oh wait, tell me more.
Yeah, with the committee right up front there, with
Awesome.
carrying the canes and wearing the green polos with the black pants. That's right up front. So
I'll be on the lookout. I'll definitely be on the lookout for you. It should be a lot of fun. Hopefully the weather will be good for that.
Yes,
and that'll be very special. So yeah, that'll be nice to have both of those together. That's never happened before.
Combined, no, it's never happened before. But if I'm remembering my Metri history right here, Jeff, is that since the Veterans Boulevard parade route started, this is only the second time that a Mardi Gras parade has been on the Metri Road route, because Crouere Zeus, for their 50th anniversary, did a special Metairie Road parade. So, but
yeah, you may be right about that. Brian, here's the deal. Metairie Road is a much better route for parade than Veterans.
Yes.
I mean, Veterans is just not a very good route. It's just antiseptic. It's just, not a great place to watch a parade.
Nope.
That's why everybody loves going to see the parades in New Orleans on St. Charles Avenue, because it's just a perfect place to watch a parade. It's very family friendly, and Metairie Road's the same way. But it's just congested. It's hard for the people there, to deal with the crowds. So they've limited to just this one day.
Now you realize, I mean, the St. Patrick's Day parade has over 100 units. So, I mean, everybody going down there needs to brace themselves, because it's gonna be a long day.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think it's starting earlier. It'll be ending later. Yeah. It'll be, a massive day, but
looking forward to it.
Yeah, it will be good. It'll be good. So, that's sort of the silver lining in all this, but otherwise, a good Mardi Gras and a lot of fun. And, we got through it without any kind of major instance of crime. And, so that's always a good thing.
Yes, it is. We're talking with Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics, down in New Orleans. All right, we got to talk about LaToya Cantrell. She just don't seem to care. Back to Washington, D.C. in spite of orders, right?
I mean, they're trying to limit her because of her ridiculous travel and just her, arrogance. And, they had a travel ban on her.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't care. I mean, she's going to a mayor's conference in D.C. and, it's just another example of the attitude she has, and another example of the poor relations between the city council and the mayor. So she's going to do what she wants to do, Brian, and that's always been her motto.
But is there a way to actually physically stop her? I mean, can you, cancel the credit card, something?
I think there could be legal action. I don't know. I mean, the city council is ranting and raving about it. I mean, they passed the ordinance because of the excessive spending that she's been doing. It became law. The mayor didn't even veto it. So, now you got JP Morrell saying, he wants a full accounting of any costs incurred, reimbursements made. So they're going to try to get the money on the back end here, but, good luck with that.
Right.
I mean, she's just cruising into the final few months of her tenure. And I think she's probably shopping around, seeing what she's going to be able to find, as her next gig.
Well, I mean, New Orleans mayors have a history of relocating to D.C. after they're done. I mean, where's Mark Morial now? Where's Mitch Landrieu now? I mean, I honestly don't know where Ray Nagin's at right now, but we got 2 out of the last 3 at least.
Dallas.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, 2 out of the last 3 have found homes in Washington, D.C. This is obvious. I mean, to me, this feels like a resume spreading trip.
Yeah, it could very well be. I mean, she's doesn't have, I think, the appeal of Morial or Landrieu, and then certainly doesn't have the reputation that those guys have. So I don't see her landing anything as high profile as, president of the Urban League or whatever the heck. I mean, I guess Landrieu was campaign chairman and infrastructure czar, and now he's going on MSNBC calling Donald Trump a traitor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, guy's got such chutzpah, but yeah, I don't see. I don't see Cantrell getting something like that, but I see you're getting something maybe with the uh, Aspen Institute or one of these organizations like that.
Yep.
She's been going to all their events.
Yeah, I definitely see that. Something in the climate arena for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. 14. Yeah. 14 trips. Just in the past year, 14 trips to Barcelona and Qatar and Rio de Janeiro and Montreal and Mexico City, and I mean, she's and of course neglecting her main job, and that is leading the city of New Orleans.
Exactly. We got just a couple minutes left with Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics down in New Orleans. I want to get to check your pulse real quick, or check the pulse of New Orleans business real quick when it comes to what's going on with tariffs, quote unquote, trade wars, and the like. Jeff, New Orleans is a much more international city when it comes to business. What's the pulse down there as far as, I mean, are we seeing support of Trump? Are we seeing a little bit of hesitancy to do business right now because of what's coming? It's just, I know everywhere is a little bit different. Just wanted to find out what's going on.
I think the business community down here is worried about it. I mean, because the port is such a big part of the economy here, and they're worried that the tariffs could hurt trade, hurt business at the port, and be a negative for our area. But it remains to be seen. I mean, I've watched a lot of threats of tariffs, and then the tariffs not be implemented. I mean, that's happened several times. So who knows what in the end will be implemented by this administration. I mean, it just is used as a tool to get sort of changes from these other countries, and then they don't get implemented or they get delayed. So I think we'll see maybe on April 2nd what exactly is going to be implemented. But I think much of this could be just bluffing.
And that's the thing, Jeff. I think a lot of it is bluffing, or just at the very least a negotiating tool to get something out of the other side, just to get something out of the deal. And whereas we've had so many, we've seen so many deals in the past where we get absolutely nothing. Donald Trump saying, "I'm not walking away empty-handed. Throw me a bone here." So how do we?
Right. I mean, it's a great tool to extract concessions.
Yes.
And I think that's what it's being used for. In the end, I don't know how much is going to actually be implemented by the president. So, I mean, I think we'll just have to wait and see. But I think there is some concern as to the direction that we could be going as far as tariffs. My view on it, Brian, is if we're facing these high tariffs in these other countries, I mean, reciprocal tariffs to me just seems fair. I mean, I think it's just part of free and fair trade, that we have a level playing field.
Yeah.
As far as, Louisiana, I mean, the country always being on the losing end here. So we'll see. I mean, it's certainly something that's talked about a lot, but many times it seems to be delayed or lessened as far as the impact.
He is Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. Yeah, if we can get the rest of the business world to walk in with the same level of confidence that the president has, that's simply all it is. I mean, scared money don't pay, and they get scared, and well, now my retirement has to take a hit because of it, at least temporarily.
Right, temporarily. I think in the end, it could be very good. I like the president fighting for our country and putting our country first, and I mean, always seems to be concerned about how we're being treated, and says, hey, we're not going to be taken advantage of. So I think people appreciate that, and will cut him some slack as far as maybe, economic woes in the short term. We got to get it. I mean, as far as Republicans go, President Trump supporters, they got to get it worked out by the midterms.
Right.
So they want to make sure that the economy is humming by then, because if not, it could be bad news.
Oh no, midterm backlash could be a huge blue wave. I mean, if the if the Democrats can find a playbook to actually use. In the meanwhile, you got to show
they got their own problems.
Yeah, they do.
Right.
He is Jeff Crouere. We always appreciate the time. I'll see you on Sunday, hopefully.
All right, good deal, Brian. Thank you,
later on, Jeff. We'll talk to you soon. Coming up on 650 at Talk 107.3 FM, it is time for Your Money Now. So he lives near Metairie Road. So he's right about the Veterans Boulevard parade route being too antiseptic. I get it. But at the same time, though, man, Metairie Road is too small, too congested. Try getting in and out of Old Metairie on Sunday is awful. And to expect people to do that throughout Mardi Gras would be terrible. Now, if there were a way to combine the two routes, and there's really not, but like, how would that work? The parade starts on Severn at Rummel, goes up Severn to Metairie Road, up Metairie Road. Well, you know what? If you went up Metairie Road to Bonneville, I don't know. And if you turned the Mardi Gras parade up Bonneville, you'd have all that kinds of room and space and everything. But where would you disband? I mean, you'd have to take Bonneville all the way back to Veterans. Patrick says Tony Spell does not play well with others. Yeah, I'm the one that came up with the term Branch Covidians. Everyone was out of their minds at that time with COVID. We were all scared. And in a time when we were all scared, it just, there needed to be a little go along to get along. Every other church found a way to make mass happen or make services happen, except for his. I'm still not done being bitter about that. You couldn't go a week without passing a collection plate. To look at it in hindsight, we probably shouldn't have canceled church. Probably should have canceled school. But the flip side of that is we have no idea what the numbers would have been had we not canceled anything. Louisiana, self-saboteur's paradise. 100%. Landry wants the feds to reimburse us for Super Bowl expenses. Is he asking Trump or Musk? Pretty sure he has to ask Congress. Congress cuts the checks there. I realize you were trying to make a smug joke, but that I don't think that comes from the White House, does it? Who was it that it wasn't FEMA, and I don't think it was Homeland Security. Well, you gotta be curious now, Patrick. I'm wondering, does he need to go through Congress for that? I'm not looking it up during the show, though. I will say that. I'll dig into that afterwards. I need to get actual sleep tonight. 6:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Thanks again to Jeff Crouere for hopping on. Well, ringside politics there. We get an update from New Orleans every single week from Jeff. Most weeks from Jeff. I mean, obviously we weren't on last week because it was Mardi Gras Day. But I always appreciate his time and insight. Jeff's gonna be one of the ones that's out there for the Pelican Institute's Solution Summit coming up on April 1st. We'll be broadcasting live from there. Moon Griffon will be broadcasting live. They got a little radio row of sorts right outside all the events and festivities for the Pelican Institute's Solution Summit coming up on April 1st. We're blowing right past top stories and trending at 7 o'clock because Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser is going to hop on the hotline. He's got himself a day plan. Going to be pardoning a crawfish. Kind of the unofficial kickoff to the real crawfish season. I know we've all been eating crawfish for a little while now. In the Haldane house, we are 3 days shy of a month. 3 days shy of a month because it's Valentine's Day is the beginning of our crawfish season.
Literally yesterday.
What? Oh, you had some yesterday?
Yeah.
All right.
I was suffering.
So today a crawfish will be pardoned by Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. He's going to talk about that at 7:05, along with a couple of other things. Put a recap on Mardi Gras, put a recap on the Super Bowl. And where we go from here. Meanwhile, before we get you to anything else, got to remind you about the folks over at Vex European, VEX. VexEuropean.com is the website. If you drive a European vehicle, I highly recommend you check them out. Hit that little drop-down tab where it says vehicles and see if they have your make of vehicle. If they do, they have an expert technician to service your vehicle. They're located in real life on the backside of Industrialplex off Benefit Drive. They're celebrating 10 years in business. You don't get to stick around 10 years, especially in the mechanics game, right? I mean, your reputation will precede you, and they have a reputation of, the term I coined was Vexpertise. Check them out online at VexEuropean.com. That's V as in Vinny, VexEuropean.com. The property tax reform that we saw within the last legislative session or last year's legislative sessions apparently is working. Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple says the reforms are working. Temple says, and you heard this in our news at the bottom of the hour, that the legislature passed his package of property insurance reforms bill last year, and we are actually starting to see rates move in the right direction. Cut 10.
We've had insurance companies file for rate decreases for 2025, and that is largely attributable to the reform as well as just the overall reinsurance market.
The reinsurance market is one that's a little bit more out of our hands, for sure, but control the controllables, right? Temple says the Department of Insurance has licensed 10 new insurers since the start of last year's session. Wasn't there a time when we only had like 3? He says while there are still a ways to go, Louisiana is seeing benefits of reform faster than at least one of our Gulf Coast neighbors.
Florida, who had a property crisis of their own that they dealt with over several special sessions, it took over a year and a half before they started seeing the impact.
But we got to follow Florida's model, though, which is, there is a good side-by-side comparison to be had here or to take away from here. But the point is, Tim Temple and his department doing all the right things right now. Another factor in the change in the property insurance trend is our fortified roofs program, which he says that has many more benefits than just the one.
Fortified works. You get a discount from your homeowner's insurance. You get peace of mind knowing that your roof's going to stay on and your contents are going to stay dry.
That's the bigger part of this, right? We look to the fortified roof program to help lower premiums, but really we want the fortified roof so that we don't have to cash in on any of this, so we don't have to make a claim, so that our roof stays on top of our heads where it was supposed to go. I know when I was getting our new roof with Parish Construction and Roofing, when I gave them a call, learned about all the benefits of it, and I tell you, I'm a very happy customer. So let's keep it up, keep it going, keep moving in the right direction with those premiums. All right, news coming up, then Billy Nungesser next. I don't know why you have such a penchant to do that, Patrick. Yes, Donald Trump is the first president to travel anywhere, ever. No president has ever left the White House before Donald Trump. I don't know what you get out of those comments. You're generally great conversation, and then you slide into that every once in a while. Where's my lieutenant governor notes? I don't know what the shit I'm doing at 8:35 yet. I still don't know. And Sarah felt horrible. His press person. It's like 9:30 at night. I'm laying in bed. And just texting back and forth. I'm like, I get back up again and go back to work. But
Yeah.
To knock out all the stuff that wasn't 8:35.
Right. Crap.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, had I known sooner, I could have had the Zydeco's head coach on today because they're back at it after Mardi Gras is over with. Yeah.
I wonder. Is there any strings to pull before that? Dang.
No, and I'm gonna work on getting him before the week's over with, but I need to find Brian Glorioso's phone number.
Brian Glorioso.
State representative from Slidell. I don't know him. But he filed a bill that I can't tell if it's going to make things worse in the car insurance world. Okay, where are we at? 7:05, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, John LaBeouf producing. We are starting off your second hour at, 45 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Got a busy hour coming your way. You don't. Give me one quick second, y'all. I apologize. I'm connecting with the Lieutenant Governor with his people right now. A busy morning for Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, as I talked about going into the break right there. He is on his way to Henderson, Louisiana this morning, to Pat's Fisherman's Wharf Restaurant in Henderson. Be inside the Atchafalaya Club, as coming up at 9 o'clock, an hour and 54 minutes from right now, he will be pardoning a crawfish. This is a tradition started back in 2017 by Lieutenant Governor Nungesser. You know, the president pardons a turkey on Thanksgiving Day. Well, celebrates crawfish season throughout Louisiana and across the Gulf South. There we go. The pardoning of the crawfish will be coming up just shy of 2 hours from right now. Got a lot to cover with the Lieutenant Governor here, and I'm going to use some of it as a teaser to talk about what's coming up on Thursday, where Ag Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain's going to join us, because when we want all the details of crawfish season, we'll talk to Dr. Strain on Thursday. Right now, though, to kick things off, we've got Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser on with us. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. 9th annual pardoning of the crawfish. So tell us all about it.
Well, you know, each year we take one lucky crawfish out of the Louisiana swamps. We give him a distinguished name of some great Louisianan, and we pardon it, and then we give it an escort to the state park where we let it live its life out while the rest of its family gets boiled alive across Louisiana.
That took such a dark turn.
But we have a lot of fun with it. It really helps promote our crawfish industry. The news makes it all over the country and actually all over the world about pardoning a crawfish. And got this idea when I first got elected about this. After continuing hearing the presidents brag about pardoning a turkey at the White House.
Right. Why? Yeah. Every year the president pardons a turkey, whether the turkey committed a crime or not. So why not pick up on that? So are we able to reveal, or do we have to wait until 9 o'clock to find out? Are we able to reveal what great Louisianan this crawfish is going to be named after?
Yeah, it's really special this year, especially to me, spending so many years. But a great Louisianan, Pat's Fisherman's Wharf Restaurant in Henderson. Mm-hmm. That establishment has been a family in the family for years. And Mr. Uval, who was the first mayor of Henderson, him and his family owned that. He passed away several years ago. I think in 2018 he passed away. His family carries on that tradition. Great seafood, attracts people from all over the world. He is a great Louisiana ambassador, and his family continues that tradition. But to honor him for his public service and his commitment to great Louisiana seafood at that restaurant is kind of special. I got great memories there when my father was chief of staff to Governor Treen. Once a week, a bunch of politicians would get in an RV and go eat in Henderson. A lot of great political stories sitting around the tables there. A lot of great memories there, as I know a lot of Louisianans have.
I can't say I've ever been to Pat's Fisherman's Wharf, and I'm looking at it on the map right here. I mean, it's if you regularly travel I-10, it's not that far from 10, but it takes a good bit to get to it. So hopefully this is putting Pat's on the map a little more as well.
It really is. I tell you, it's packed on the weekend. A lot of special events. They have live bands in a back room a lot of times. But you walk in that place and you feel you're like at home, just like all over Louisiana. They treat you like your family. You can never finish the plates are huge of food. And we get all kind of people that come from all over the world that comment on the great food.
We got Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser with us, about to pardon a crawfish a little bit less than 2 hours from right now. Lieutenant Governor Nungesser, this crawfish season should be a pretty decent rebound because I know prices were up last season because of the drought the year before that. How are we looking at on the recovery end?
Yeah, I tell you, the warm weather this week's going to help. Uh, every place that I've talked to or been on the weekends, if you're going to buy crawfish to take out, they've been selling out. The restaurants are packed, so I think it's going to be a great season. The crawfish I've had have all been excellent, and so I'm excited. I think it's due for the fishermen and for the people selling the crawfish to have a good, affordable season. And when they're affordable, they sell a lot more, and they can get a good production out of their crops. So I'm excited for this season. Coming off our Super Bowl, Mardi Gras, now all the fairs and festivals kicking off. We're expecting a record year in tourism, and surely the Great Louisiana Crawfish helps set the tone for that.
I don't know why I bother writing down segues here, because you always walk me right through them. Let's go ahead and recap the Super Bowl and Mardi Gras. I mean, in New Orleans, especially, Mardi Gras relatively, packed, to be sure. And we're going to talk about a little bit more at length with Jay Cicero tomorrow. But no real negative events except for the weather on Mardi Gras Day.
No, I tell you, and I tell you, they, with the exception of Metairie, the officials to come together and find a way to sneak it in before the bad weather safely, did a great job of doing that. You always got to applaud the elected officials when they step out and take a chance, knowing the risk of not having Mardi Gras and disappointing so many people. To have it early and pull it off without a hitch, you need people to lean forward like that and take a little bit of a chance. So Covington, all the Mardi Gras around the state did a great job at getting those parades in early, so they didn't put people at risk, but they also got to let all the visitors from all over the world that were here not leave disappointed. And that was very important to future tourism. You always want people leaving here full of all the Mardi Gras they can handle.
And we're talking with Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, just putting a button on Mardi Gras there. I mean, we here locally understand, all the pageantry and everything surrounding Rex and the balls and watching it on LPB at night to see Rex meet Comus and whatnot. But if you are traveling in from out of town, maybe all that pageantry and all that tradition is lost on you because you're just there for the fun. I mean, they got in Endymion, Bacchus, and Orpheus, to be sure.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I got to ride in Bacchus. The crowd was incredible. Hats off to Bacchus's crew. They recognized 30 of the fairs and festivals. Each float was a different fair festival. A great notary, recognizing those floats and those teams that work year-round, putting on those fairs and festivals at no cost. The work they put into them to be highlighted and recognized in Bacchus. And then for the first time ever, Bacchus let women ride. We had a float full of the queens that represented each one of those fairs and festivals. So it was a great display of all that goes on all over Louisiana year-round. And we thank Bacchus for highlighting that and really putting on a great show.
Walk us through, if I could squeeze 2 more minutes out of you, walk us through what's to come. I know we all have Jazz Fest pegged for the end of April, but between now and then, what are a few of the highlights for festival season?
Oh, wow. We have 400 fairs and festivals. If you can eat it, drink it, shoot it, dance to it, we name a festival after it. So on any given weekend, whether it's the Omelet Festival, whether it's the Rice Festival, I'll be Grand Marshal in Crouere this year for that one, the Frog Fest. I mean, they're all over everywhere, and each one has a different flavor. So if you haven't been to them all, you need to start checking them off your list. They surely are a great tool in our toolbox that lures people from all over the world because there's something for everyone. And that's just what makes Louisiana special. So, you can go to explorelouisiana.com, look at the list of them, and find a different one every weekend you want to go to.
He is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Always hits me with one I've never heard of before, the Omelet Festival. That one might be a little pricey this year.
You're right.
You got business to tend to, partner to Crawfish. I appreciate a couple minutes this morning.
Thank you, my friend. Have a good day.
You do the same. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back from that break, we got Maggie Spurlock from the Baton Rouge Area Chamber on next. Can you make sure that's her? I need some notes from her. I need them quickly because we're already in traffic. All right, let's go. Hey, Maggie. Hey, before we get rolling, we're talking interns? Okay. Give me just a couple bullet points too, so I can start the conversation. We'll hit on the we'll break those down in industry by industry. All right, hang tight, coming back in. (7:17) Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along, moving from Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser over to the Baton Rouge area chamber. We got Maggie Spurlock on with us right now. Maggie, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you today?
Doing very well this morning. So, we cover a lot of different topics when we have y'all on from the chamber, and this morning's topic I think is one that's kind of underrated, one we don't talk about nearly enough, and we don't take advantage of enough in Baton Rouge, and that is internships. So, from BRAC's perspective, what are y'all looking at right now? What do you need from the business community right now?
Absolutely. So the number one thing that we really need is for our businesses and our community to really look at the opportunities that they can offer local area high school students. Obviously, BRAC supports the 9-parish region, and so we are working with different schools to really work towards what that looks like. But we need those businesses to really look at their structures and find opportunities for local high school students to have internship opportunities. And I know we've talked about this with our college students, but it is equally the same with our high school intern students. We want to make sure that we're giving them some work-based learning opportunities to make sure that they are also prepared for high demand careers or higher ed opportunities, and really just personal growth for them. I think for those of us that had high school jobs and high school working opportunities, it really helps guide that thought process of, maybe a lot of students think XYZ is the career for them, and then maybe they get a little experience in it, and it helps guide them and either confirm that is in fact what they want to do, or maybe it helps guide them to a new experience or a new opportunity that maybe they hadn't even thought was a possibility for them. So we need those businesses out there to really look at what their openings are, what they're able to do. If you're a business owner, get with your HR person, get with your marketing person, get with your staff, get with your people, and see where you can offer that opportunity for 1 or 2 students, or maybe even more. We have some other folks that really excel at what this looks like. And so we're happy to bring you on board. You can definitely reach out to us, and we can get you connected with some of those businesses that or with some of those students, that are really looking for these opportunities.
How does the Baton Rouge area chamber help businesses find that sweet spot to where you're not just having someone come into the office to fetch coffee 3 days a week, but on the flip side, you're not putting the future of your business in the hands of a high schooler either? How do you find that sweet spot to get meaningful work out of it?
Sure. So one of the things that's really great that we've looked at is we've got some really great parameters of what that looks like. If you're that business, we're working on updating our website. We're going to have some really great guides and some FAQs to help you do that. So what are the expectations of the student? What are the expectations for you as a business? We don't want the student coming in there making coffee every day. We want them to have some hands-on experience for what that looks like. One of the things that we do is we are working with EBR on their programming that with this work-based experience, some of those students will be doing some in-class hours. And that actually gives those students, in addition to that work-based learning, they're also getting Carnegie credit. And in some cases, that actually counts as dual enrollment credit for those students. So we want to make sure it's a valuable opportunity for the students and for you as a business. And so that is where we can be a resource for you. One of the things that I met with our team yesterday, and we talked a little bit about, that's okay. If you're not sure what you can do or what you can offer, but you know you've got the space or you've got the funding, give us a call and we can help guide you to what that opportunity looks like. Let us be that resource for you to help with that process.
Let's talk about that opportunity. Let's talk about scale here, because normally when we think about offering up internships, we're thinking of, you know, the bigger corporations in town. We're thinking of the Exxon Mobil's types of the world, but this can scale down to your mom and pop style business as well.
Absolutely. You know, that's one thing that we do know is Baton Rouge really excels in smaller, independently owned businesses. And so this is a great way for you to kind of create that pipeline within your business. So you may start out with a student that is a junior in high school or a senior in high school, and they're going to work with you. And essentially, you may have a year or two under your belt with the student. They know you, they know your business, they know what works for you. And by the time they graduate, they may be ready to come on as a fully employed person for you. And so you've kind of gotten that on-the-job training and been able to bring them up to it. And so what's been great is for that student is they've gotten that opportunity to grow and learn, and then they're going to graduate and have a full-time job, which is amazing. And then for you as that small business, you haven't had to start with somebody that maybe comes in and is looking for, you know, some really high expectations or, you know, wanting a really high paycheck on that first go round. You're able to grow that student and have them become a part of your work family, a part of your business. And so that is a piece that is really important. The other thing that's really, really exciting is, and this is another piece, you know, you said, how can the businesses do it?
Yeah.
We're also aware that maybe not every business has the place for a student. Maybe there are security issues or background issues or age requirements. We do know that that is something that happens for some businesses. But you really feel passionate about this. You get it. You understand that this work-based learning is important, that, you know, maybe that's something that the workforce needs that you see are important for the capital region, and you want to support this. So there is an opportunity to sponsor a student. And so if that's something that you're passionate about, you want to donate some money towards this that can help provide for a student in a business to have that experience, that's another thing. You can reach out to us and we can help facilitate that as well. And so it's not just having to host them. If it's something that's important to you, you can also sponsor it. So again, a lot of different opportunities to do that. And again, like if you're that sponsor and you're able to support that student working for a smaller business, you kind of really help either a small business or a nonprofit have a student get exposure to some really great experience.
We got Maggie Spurlock on from the Baton Rouge Area Chamber. I got just a couple minutes left with Maggie talking about internships, the need for them, and why, well, really now's the right time as we're approaching the end of the school, well, the back half of the school year, to be sure. Maggie, you want to talk about working this in on the student schedule here? You had mentioned some dual enrollment type of stuff, or acting as dual enrollment when you can offer credits for it and whatnot, but mapping this out with the student's schedule at school, what kind of coordination and logistics going on that end?
Sure. So one of the things that's really great about this is one of the biggest pushes that we do, that we actually push for a lot of this experience to be in the summer. And so traditionally what we look at is for businesses and students both to have really made that commitment no later than early May. So we know right now, from the best of my understanding, just in EBR, we've got about 300 students that have applied, that are looking, that are ready to roll, that are looking for places. And so we're looking for businesses to make that commitment by early May. And then they do a match day program for students towards the end of May. It's kind of a big deal. They have a great day with what that looks like. And then in June and July, they're doing a lot of the work there And then some of that, if they're a part of that EVR credit program, they're going to be doing in-class work either during the summer or during the school year that is giving them a lot of that classroom knowledge to help with certain industry work. So really what we're looking for right now is our businesses to really reach out to us. Let's get you connected. Let's get you a student ready to come with you this summer. And so again, we're looking at around 155 hours for that piece. And definitely depending on what your structure looks like, we can definitely have a conversation about pay. But as per usual, we do want these students to get paid. They're working. We need them to get paid. For a lot of them, this is an opportunity for growth, and we want to make sure that they're being paid accordingly. And for, again, a lot of these students, this is a growth opportunity, but we're looking at some students that their job also helps support their families a little bit too. So we want to make sure that they're covered with that. So you can start reaching out to us at BRAC. You can reach out to me or either of my guys on my team. We've got John and Michael, and we can get you all set up if you're a business looking to support.
Maggie Spurlock with Baton Rouge Area Chamber. BRAC.org is the website, or just all your contact information is on the website, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a great place to start. Go ahead.
Yep. I was going to say my email is super easy. It's just maggi@brac.org. You can shoot me an email and we'll get you connected and taken care of. How often do we need to re-up on this? And I'm sure, because here at Guarantee, we take on some interns from time to time. And once we get them in, I mean, it's you want to re-up. So how often are we looking for this? I don't want to say turnover, but a new commitment. Yeah. So really every year we're kind of looking for, even if you're kind of an old regular, you've got your people coming in, again, those students graduate and new opportunities open up. And so really just, it's worth having that conversation with us every spring to really just kind of make sure we've got you down. We know that you're in a part of it. We know we've got you in the funnel and on that list to make sure that you're definitely getting connected. The other thing that I would say that I haven't mentioned yet that we would really love to hear from folks. If you've had, Brian, if y'all have had an intern that y'all really loved had working for y'all, shoot me an email, give me a paragraph testimonial. We really want to also share on social media and on our website what those experiences look like for our local businesses. So definitely reach out to us with those testimonials. We are happy to hear from you about what that looks like, to be able to share with others what your experience is, to kind of, let's get everybody on board in town.
She is Maggie Spurlock with the Baton Rouge Area Chamber. I greatly appreciate a couple minutes this morning. Great stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you as always. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you. We're at coming up on 729 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. So BRAC.org, Maggie at BRAC.org, if you wanted to hit her up directly via email. Always appreciate that. And yeah, now's the time to start getting in line for internships that end the school year and run through the summer, to be sure. We've got news coming up in just a little bit. After news, traffic, and weather, Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse is going to join us in our next segment. We've got so much to talk about with the Chief. Before we get to news, though, got to remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website. LandmarkBankLA.com. What are you getting with Landmark Bank? You're getting a banker. You're not just getting a bank. You're getting a bank. You're getting all the the financial tech that comes with getting a bank. You're getting all the benefits of having Landmark Bank, but you're also getting a banker, which means you have someone who, when you walk through that front door at any branch, you're shaking their hand, you're saying hello, and they're saying hello right back. They're able to explain things to you where they can help you, whether you're looking to borrow personally or to grow your business or to start a business. They've got you covered at Landmark Bank, and you're going to find them in the surrounding areas. You're going to find them in Denham. You're going to find them in Zachary. You're going to find them in Brewley. In fact, if you go to landmarkbankla.com, you'll get the full list of where all their locations are. And this is by design. They started more than 100 years ago to be a local community bank, and they've remained true to their mission from the very beginning. You don't survive over 100 years without showing success on that front. Landmarkbankla.com. Let me go see if the Chief's here. As I say that, the text comes across as the Chief's downstairs. So had Hiller on last Wednesday. He was saying both homicides and non-fatals are down significantly. So I want to follow up on that with what are we doing right? Like clearly we're doing something. That's good.
Citizens Academy tonight. I think they're doing taser, letting someone volunteer to get tased tonight.
Oh my goodness. What time?
Just saying that'd make good radio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Records your noise that you make when you get you can play that as the introduction.
Oh man.
Once in a lifetime opportunity.
No, I know. And for some strange reason I actually want to do it.
Yeah.
I just Time to get a look at your forecast. Here's WBRZ meteorologist Emma Kate Cowan.
Speaking of forecast, we might have to push the St. Patty's Day parade.
Oh, that's right. This one's Saturday. I'm in the one in Metairie, so
Okay.
that's Sunday.
It's supposed to be Saturday here in Baton Rouge, but I think we're gonna push it to Sunday.
Okay. That's a lot of parading on Sunday. .736 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We have got our chief of police in studio right now, Chief TJ Morse, with us. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well this morning. Thank you very much.
Glad to have you on here as always, as we try to check in. At least we try to check in once a month. Had District Attorney Hiller Moore on last week, and we were running down some numbers, and it looks like homicides and non-fatals are down by a pretty decent number so far this year.
Yes.
Obviously, you don't want to talk to the pitcher in the middle of a no-hitter, but
right.
I do want to talk about what it is we're doing. What are we doing right?
I don't think you can really nail it down to one thing. Last year, we saw a big spike towards the beginning of the year in some retaliation shootings and gang shootings, group on group, whatever you want to call it, type of incidents. So we've really buckled down, formation of my special investigation division, little more overtime hours, gun violence reduction programs, and then just trying to really rely on the community to help us identify people, hold people responsible.
And that's all about relationship building, relying on the community. That has been a path that I know you've been on since taking on the gig. How's that path been coming?
Yeah, so it's good. I try to go to as many places and spaces as I can. I'll be tonight at Gus Young Community Park speaking to the community there with newly elected Councilwoman Twana Harris. She's having a community event, so I'll be there speaking about public safety and just building relationships with Baton Rouge Police Department and the community. But I really have to, I'd be remiss if I just didn't give a, hats off to all my officers, the job that they've been doing. Everybody from uniform patrol, just boots on the ground out there patrolling and being proactive, doing the things that we ask them to do, making proactive arrests, getting guns off the streets. And then to the detectives on the back end, the hard work they're doing. They're very much understaffed and overworked, us being 150 officers short. Right now, that's 150 officers shorter than we were, 10 years ago and even, 5 years ago. So they're doing a lot more with a lot less. And so I really got to give them a shout out and tell them good job.
Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morrison with us. Let's talk about those 150 officers short there for just a second. I know there's a lot of budgetary topics going on right now. We'll get into a little bit of it in a little bit. But when it comes to those 150 open slots, how many can we, like, if everyone were just to crowd BRPD today and want to fill out a job application, how many could we actually take on right now?
Yeah, so we'll take on 150.
Okay.
Okay. Right now, right now, we have about 80 of those positions frozen. For those salaries and benefits moved to other parts of the general fund because of the $9 million reduction that we have to look at from last year to this year.
Yep.
So, I say that we would take them all on right now, but minus about 80 of those. With the mayor's new plan, that would be unfreezing those positions. And if we can get the officers' pay raise to be competitive like we need and like I believe we deserve, there's about 14 different agencies around us that pay a lot more money than Baton Rouge police officer makes. So we need that pay raise to attract more officers, more qualified officers. And I think if we get that, we could easily this time next year be having 75, 80 more officers easily.
That would be a big thing.
Yeah,
a very big thing.
huge.
Because we've gone from, we had the, there was a time where, there was just a fleeing of police officers leaving the job overall. Looks like that tide has completely been stemmed, but now it's just a matter of, can you make it attractive enough to refill all the positions? So what's the pitch here? Until it can be, until you can get those numbers for the pay raise where they need to be, what's the pitch in the meanwhile?
Yeah, so a main pitch just is working on that money, but we do still attract a lot of officers because of what we have to offer the Baton Rouge Police Department. I like to say we are big enough that we have a lot of room for opportunity and movement, specialized divisions, technology, things like that attract people, but small enough where it's still kind of a family atmosphere. Everybody knows each other. 545 officers right now that we have. So, you go to a restaurant, you see somebody, that you work with them. Unlike, Houston PD, where you might be sitting next to somebody and you don't even know that you'll both work for Houston PD. But like I said, we're still large enough that we're able to do a lot of things with technology, a lot of specialized divisions that people can participate in.
Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse is our guest. We're talking talking a little bit about recruitment here, and we'll get back into some the budgetary stuff in just a second. But when it comes to recruitment, how often, how frequent? I mean, how often do we see a new academy?
Yeah, so we're shooting for 2 academies a year. We started one in January. That'll be graduating in about June, and then we'll be having another one right on the heels of that, starting in the first part of July. We're actively right now getting people through that process, starting the process right now for that academy that starts in July. Physical fitness testing, background applications, all that kind of stuff. So right now is the time to apply if you want to be a Baton Rouge police officer, and for that academy in July.
What are some of the bigger challenges? I mean, for like, let's just say the average person who's showing up at the academy, what are some of the bigger challenges that y'all are seeing? I mean, if you're that many officers short, are you in a beggars can't be choosers situation while you are in a position where you have to be selective at the same time?
Definitely not. We definitely are not going to sacrifice quality for quantity. We used to have 300 people applying for a job, and we would run about 30, 40 man academies. Now we got maybe about 75, 80 people applying for police officer job, and we've been running about 12 man academies starting off. This academy that we're in right now started about 12 or 13 people, and we're down to 8.
Ooh.
So it's not something that we're going to sacrifice any of our quality or our quality assurances or settle. But we would like to attract a higher level and more people. That I think the biggest reason we're not right now is because of the pay.
All right. Well, then let's talk about the pay. How do we get there? When it comes to the overall, the budget discussion, the mayor's plan, and you got the library tax that's involved in this, how much do you need to just sit on the sidelines and let things play out, or how active can you be in this discussion?
So 90% sitting on the sidelines. I'm not getting involved with any of the money talks or where the money's coming from or anything like that. Just mainly what I'm doing right now is just being an advocate for the department, being an advocate for my officers who I believe need this. I think the city of Baton Rouge needs it so that we can get more officers. The truth is, with our $9 million budget cut from last year to this year, officer in 2025 is going to make less money than an officer did in 2024. Wow. Because most of that money, $9 million, is coming from our overtime budget. You're going to see less officers at community events. You're going to see us not being able to staff a lot of events that we had before, fun runs and special events downtown. All those people are going to have to pay officers extra duty to come out and work that instead of us providing them through our overtime budget, because the overtime budget just is not there. We just don't have it anymore with that $9 million decrease from last year to this year.
So you're basically, folks will need to hire their own detail officers at that point.
Yeah, that's what we're going to have to go to, just because our budget doesn't support being able to provide them for overtime. When you look at, and you're talking about money in general funds, so right now our budget is $98 million for 2025. Less than $2 million of it is actually dedicated funds for the police department. So the rest of the money is just general fund money. We're not like some of the other organizations and some people that have a dedicated tax. We just get our money from the general fund.
Has there been, I don't know how much you can reveal, but has there been any talk of doing that? Because over at least my history in Baton Rouge, I moved to Baton Rouge in 1995. My history in Baton Rouge, we've gone to the polls a number of times to vote for things that we want. And then now we're in a spot where we're really desperate for things that we need. Has there been any talk of a dedicated police tax?
I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't really get involved in the politics part of it or where the money comes from. Just, trying to push the message that this is something that we do need so that we can hire more officers and give the officers the raise I believe they deserve.
Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse, our guest for a couple more minutes. Talking a little bit about, we started off on the crime numbers. I do want to go back to that. With the homicides and the non-fatals being down, if it's part of the overall effort, I mean, is it just more the same as we move through the year, or do things evolve tactically as the year changes? Like cold weather versus warm weather, daylight savings versus the sun being out later, school being in versus school being out.
Yeah, of course, all those things kind of we see coming into play during the summertime. We'll see an increase in things, especially like property crime with kids being out of school. Daylight savings with the sun being out later. We'll see some crimes happening earlier or later. Last year, kind of want to hit on again. Last year, even though we had 2 more homicides in 2024 than we did in 2023, we actually ended the year about 9% decrease in property crime and 8.5% decrease in overall violent crime. as we sit right now this year, and like you said, you don't want to put the cart before the horse or talk about things going too good, and anything you take credit for, you have to also take blame for. But right now, as we're sitting, even though a lot of people in Baton Rouge are saying, man, we're seeing shootings every day and news are reporting a lot of things, we're actually sitting about 40% lower year to date in our non-fatal shootings,
Right.
and a little over 20% reduction in our homicides.
Yeah, the numbers are actually pretty stark. They're more than just one incident.
Yes.
That's because you can see numbers be like, oh, if homicides are up by 5%, well, really, it might only just be one incident, one person with bad aim. But this is a pretty significant. 40% is a pretty significant chunk.
Yeah, it really is. And like I said, I just have to give hats off and all the praise to my officers. Everybody from boots on the ground and to the investigators on the back end.
How long does it take? And then this might be too, I don't know if there's an actual answer to this question, but how long does it take before numbers match perception? There's a difference between being safe and feeling safe.
Yeah, it's huge. So I say that all the time. Perception is often reality.
Mm-hmm.
And if people don't feel safe, I don't know. I don't know in today's climate with the world feeling smaller. So things can happen 100 miles from here, but you see it on your Facebook and you think it's happening here. Yep. So I don't know when those numbers can meet perception meets reality kind of stuff. All I can just keep is saying is, hey, this is what the truth is. This is what the facts are. And this is what your Baton Rouge Police Department is doing to help you.
Yeah. I mean, even, whether it be halfway around the world or in our own backyard, it's going to be either on our social media feed or on TV being shoved down our throats constantly. There's never not a breaking news and flashing lights alert going off somewhere. It definitely changes perception.
Correct.
The flip side of that, though, is even when you break down the numbers that are still there for homicides and every shooting or every shot fired within Baton Rouge, it's still specific locales.
Yeah. So, I mean, and you see that across the country, every city, you have the certain areas, whether it's the more impoverished areas, lack of resources, or you see little hot spots. And it's the same in Baton Rouge. We have our hot spots. We know that we're trying to, we know that when we're signing our officers for patrol, we know that when we're doing technology and crime cameras and license plate readers. And so we really, that's been a huge push for us when we're looking at being 150 officers short. The technology is a good force multiplier. It's a good way to make up some manpower. So a lot of money into the technologies through private and nonprofit kind of partnerships to get us those things working to follow up on cases on the back end.
We got about a minute and a half left. We got about 3 minutes left with Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse. I want to follow up on that because the last time you were on, we were talking about the shot spotters going away.
Mm-hmm.
How has that conversation evolved since? Is that still the plan, and what's the replacement plan?
Yeah, so that is still the plan. Just begin because of a budgetary concerns. Mm-hmm. About a little over $300,000 contract. And when we're trying to save that money, that was something that we had to make the decision to cut. Right now, we still have the services. The company is still providing the services for free, but we're kind of making that up with just asking the community to call. Right? Hey, if you hear shots, call us. And then relying a lot on our crime cameras, our license plate readers, looking at other technology where we can actually incorporate that same shot spotter technology into the crime cameras, which we have a lot more of. The shot spotter program really only covers about little less than 8 square miles of the entire city. So it's very isolated into small pockets of the city.
Yeah, 8 square miles is a small area that costs $300,000 for sure.
Yes.
That the math isn't mathing on that front. In the meanwhile, the technology into this is amazing, but it's the people that make the difference. You mentioned about calling in. Mm-hmm. I got to learn this lesson firsthand about the importance of making that call to 911 when you hear something.
Yeah, of course. We need that goes just back to the community and us having that partnership with the community. Not only calling 911, but I was reading this morning, as I always do, waking up, looking at synopsises. Had somebody look outside and see a suspect pulling on car doors and look like they're breaking the car, so they stayed on the phone, call 911, stay on the phone with us, giving a description and location of the suspect. Our officers were able to get there, get in a foot chase, and then catch the guy and actually recover a bunch of the stolen property and return it to the owners. Really? So it's just, a small part of the community to be involved in helping out. And then on the back end, just, hey, saying enough is enough. Somebody is out there doing things, carrying guns, not allowing those guns in your homes, knowing where your kids are. A lot of the juvenile crime that we've seen a spike in. Having everybody just say enough is enough, and it's time to turn these people in.
He is Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse. We always appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We are at we blew right past your money now. We're going to take a quick break. Come back. We will continue next on Talk 107.3. $7:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. All right. Do I reveal what was going on behind the scenes right there?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not putting myself on the clock for this yet, to be sure. But, and I'm not putting a poll question out there. This is not for a Democratic vote. But tonight at the Citizens Academy, this is the round where they're doing the tasing, and the chief personally invited me to get tased. And is it weird that like a part of me wants to?
I think it's normal, right? Isn't it?
Just the
or
curiosity
is there just
of it.
something wrong with us?
But so as I understand it,
as
I understand it, the pain happens and then it goes away. As soon as they turn that thing off, you're done.
You're about 5 or 6 seconds.
Right.
I was just speaking to my brother-in-law about this. He was in law enforcement. I got a couple family members in law enforcement, And they say just 5-6 seconds. But the problem is in those 5 and 6 seconds, your whole body is going through what feels like a Charlie horse.
Yeah.
And we know how painful that is if you get one in your calf.
It's not the pain. Okay, it's not the pain that bothers me. That's not what scares me at all.
Right.
All right. It's the heart.
Yes. And that's another thing.
And I have with my family history, I probably shouldn't, but I really, really want to.
It's all fun and games until
because I can't talk about it knowledgeably.
Right.
Unless I've been down that road.
Yes. But no, I think it's normal. I think it's kind of exciting in some ways, and maybe people would agree. I think it's if you haven't experienced something like that, it's I remember being a kid playing with electric fences, just seeing who can hold on the longest.
Wait, stop.
Yeah,
what?
You've never done that?
Played with an electric fence?
Yeah, where you like hold hands and like the last person on the end really gets it when the electricity flows through the body and just goes to the. If you're the last person in that line, you get it like really bad. You've never seen that?
We had different upbringings, my friend. That's not a thing in the Haldane childhood. You played with electric fence? All right.
Yeah.
All right. I wasn't a whole lot of that in Covington.
You get bored. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got bored in Covington, but
it was a trip to Texas.
We'd go mud riding or something.
I mean, funny enough, it was a trip to Texas during Katrina. We evacuated.
Okay.
And had a bunch of cousins around, and yeah, you get bored out there. We were in the country, and hey, look, there's an electric fence.
You get cousins around, things go sideways.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a guarantee right there.
That's it.
You put cousins together, it's on.
They'll think of something.
Something stupid's gonna happen. So you end up,
messing with electric fences. You try jumping it to see if you can clear it, and if you don't clear it, I mean, you're gonna get shocked. I don't know, Brian. Anyway, yes, electricity, men and electricity. Like, what is it? I don't know.
but I just there's a want to get this done though.
Yes,
and I feel like I'm just putting it off. But like to walk into a tasing and be. Here's the thing: is that like the scene from The Hangover, right? But can you trust movies? No, you can't trust movies. No. It's just, it's going to happen eventually.
But you should err on the side of caution. In all seriousness, if you do,
the heart thing,
if you are concerned,
I know. And so I should probably like get a doctor's note or something.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, who else am I going to produce? If you go,
anybody. This seat's easily fillable.
No, come
on.
We'll
throw this chair away, but the seat's easily fillable. So. Oh man,
no fun though. It sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it's a hoot. We got to hit news here in just a minute. On the back end of news, of course, we'll have This Day in History. We will have hour 3 coming your way next. State Senator Rick Edmonds going to join us to talk about the budget. Before you news, though, got to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. And, man, we are almost there, y'all. We are almost there to Mathern's, going back to the OG location. The prices you missed, the people you love are coming home. Remember Kenilworth Supermarket? It's been Robert's for a little while. Well, it's about to be Mathern's at Kenilworth, or Kenilworth Supermarket again. If you're on Highland Road, if you're in the Kenilworth subdivision, if you're a St. Jude parishioner, Mathern's is heading your way. It's where they started in Baton Rouge, and they're coming back there in Baton Rouge. Of course, you still got the downtown location and at Nicholson Drive on campus right across from Tiger Stadium. But now, heading back to Highland Road at Kenilworth, it's Mathern's.
I guess I didn't realize how many 311 songs I actually knew.
Oh, they're good.
They are good. Very like. I didn't realize like, oh, I know that song. I know that one too. Good stuff. I have to listen to them beforehand. Just even the ones I do know, I'm like, is that explicit? John's childhood experiences explain a lot. Yes, Byron, and I've only scratched the surface. Where depends. Yeah, exactly. You might poop yourself. I will say this. You knew a guy. He had a scab. It's really gross. He had a scab on his foot, and if you're not wearing, rubber, you're not grounded. Let's just say that if you're not grounded correctly, the electricity that goes through 4 or 5 people, when it finally gets to you, if there's any open wounds, there's a chance it can burst.
Gross.
Scab on his foot, electricity went, boop, pop. Yeah, it's enough pressure to it's disgusting, but just saying. Okay, Tiffany, that's a little far. You have to get tased in the face.
In the face. Former Metro Councilman Daryl Orso is going to hop on the phone. He's with the Rotary Club of St. George now. He's going to hop on the phone at 8:40.
Okay. I'm sorry, that name one more time.
Daryl Orso. What a great quote. Hey, Tiffany, haven't heard from you in forever. Crawfish Town, USA. Oh, you're talking about the place for Edwin Edwards? Man, I thought Le Pavillon in New Orleans had him. But I'm sure he had a restaurant in every city in the state that had a table permanently waiting for him there. Okay, done with that window. Done with that window. What do I got next? Okay. 806 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. John LaBeouf producing. We are starting off your third hour a little bit warmer. Not much, but a little bit warmer than the last hour. 46 degrees. Yeah. We went up by 1. Should be up to 77 before it's all said and done today. All right. Couple things of note for this hour. First of all, State Senator Rick Edmonds hopping on the hotline in our next segment. We're going to talk budget. Budget talks have begun over at the state capitol, and it's time to start diving in right now. I am a little bit curious as to how much can get done this early, because on the March 29th, we're going to vote on Constitutional Amendment 2, which basically rewrites Article 7 of the state constitution. And that can change things a good bit. But we'll talk with State Senator Rick Edmonds in our next segment. Also this hour, the folks at the Rotary Club of St. George are hosting a candidate forum tonight. Daryl Orso, former Metro Councilman Daryl Orso, going to join us at 8:40 to kind of preview that town hall, that candidate forum. We were supposed to have Congressman Troy Carter on for DC Current, presented by the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. I got word late last night. The congressman had something pop up on his schedule, completely unavoidable. He apologizes. He will be back at it next Tuesday, to be sure. And the thing was, we had so much good stuff to talk about with the congressman. But DC Current, presented by LABI, postponed with Congressman Carter. We will have DC Current tomorrow with Congresswoman Julia Letlow. Right now, we've got, courtesy of the folks over at 5 Star Printing and Signs, This Day in History. All right, Sean, let's roll, man.
All right, here we go. 1941, FDR signs Lend-Lease Bill, allowing U.S. to provide material support to Great Britain's war effort in return for future use of land for U.S. military bases in England.
So you're saying we helped out in a war with the expectation of something in return?
Yes.
So you're saying that the U.S. got something back. It would be like, I don't know, telling a country, like, we'll continue to help you out if you give us some mineral rights.
Yeah.
I mean, this is basically Donald Trump's Lend-Lease Act in Ukraine, right?
Right.
But we all have to hate on it now when it seemed like a perfectly good idea back then. Huh. Just let that sit.
That's what I was doing, yeah.
Just for a second. Just let that sit.
That's it. Unfortunately, this day in 1942, the first deportation train leaves Paris for Auschwitz concentration camp today.
Yep.
Oof. 1958, American B-47 accidentally drops nuclear bomb 15,000 feet on a family home in Mars Bluff, South Carolina. Creates a crater 75 feet across. Yeah.
Okay.
Insane.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, this is cool. 1964, Gene Roddenberry brings together a 16-page pitch for the original Star Trek series.
Okay.
Music news here. 1968, Otis Redding is the first person in the U.S. to posthumously receive a gold record for a single Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. So post-death, he's
oh man,
gold record.
Otis, one of my favorites.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
we need to have a day where we're just like, that's the music for the day.
Right.
That would be
well.
cool.
We should find his birthday and do that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. He had so many songs that other people covered.
Oh yeah.
You know, and just that he never really got full credit for, but they were his. Like Aretha Franklin's Respect.
Right. Wouldn't even think.
Right.
Wouldn't even think that.
Yeah.
So good. Oh, speaking of music news, 1997, Paul McCartney is knighted by Queen Elizabeth II. So now Sir Paul McCartney. 2013 here, North Korea cuts the phone line with South Korea, breaching the 1953 armistice. And in 2020, former Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein is sentenced to 23 years in prison.
Wait, when was this?
2020.
And I was on the phone. What did I miss? 2020 you had.
Yep.
All right. You know, that's not the only thing that happened on this day in 2020.
What happened?
It was on this day in 2020 that Rudy Gobert tested positive for the COVIDs and the NBA shut down the season.
Oof.
Yep. What you got birthday wise?
I got Terrence Howard here.
Oh, cool.
Also, Johnny Knoxville. Let's see who else we got. I know I had one more. Look at this, Shemp Howard from Three Stooges today as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. Singer Lisa Loeb also today. Anybody on your
You
end?
got Lisa Loeb and Shemp. All right. Rupert Murdoch was born on this day in 1931.
I guess, you know.
Justice Antonin Scalia, born on this day in 1936. I'm not trying to step on the Lisa Loeb flex right there. But, you know,
going through the
a
list in
Supreme
real
Court justice versus Shemp.
Come on. People care. There are people out there.
Also, the unibrow was born on this day.
Oh,
We hate
yeah?
him now, but Anthony Davis, it's his birthday as well.
Oh, man. Let's see. Moving on to deaths.
Wait,
Or
you
if
have
we
one more musician.
I do?
Yeah, Don't Worry, Be Happy. Bobby McFerrin, born on this day in 1950. Yeah, go on to deaths. What you got?
All right, let's see. Alexander Fleming here at the top of this list. That's pretty much it as far as notable deaths.
Sure
what do you have?
All right,
I'm scrolling in real time, so I do
let's go.
apologize.
No, it's okay. Merlin Olsen, former football player and actor and announcer. He died on this day. Philo Farnsworth. Philo Farnsworth died on this day in 1971. He invented the television.
Oh yeah.
He actually invented the cathode tubes.
That's
for the television. That's Philo Farnsworth died on this day in 1971. And there was one more that I had. No, that was it. Philo Farnsworth was the other one. All right, go ahead.
As far as national days go, 311 Day. Which yeah.
We've been doing with the bumper music throughout.
Yeah.
So for sure.
But yeah, from what I realized is things that don't fall under the category of necessarily emergencies. Good dial 311.
Oh yeah. Sure.
What?
I thought it was for the band.
I thought so too. Until I look up national days, and this is the top of the list here. 311 Day is celebrated annually on March 11th. While we do not have a number for emergency services, what happens when we have a legitimate question, but it does not fall under the emergency category. The 311 system is exactly for that, and it helps residents report issues, find out about city services, and so.
Because today is March 11th, 311. I thought it was about the band. I guess I was all mixed up. Horrible? Okay.
No,
fine.
man, it was good. I let it sit. That's why I let it simmer.
It seemed like you weren't down.
Wow.
I'll just let that.
I like that.
We're good. Quick break. Coming back. State Senator Rick Edmonds next. Oh,
you about to give out a number? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Mm. Whatever. Mm. 817 Talk 1073 FM WVRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So right on the other side of downtown is the state capitol. Coming up a month and 3 days from now is the legislative session for 2025, and going on right now, or actually in a couple minutes, will be more budget talks on the state Senate side. Joining us now from the Senate Finance Committee is State Senator Rick Edmonds. Senator Edmonds, good morning. Welcome back to Talk 1073. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Brian. Everything's lovely. Beautiful morning, too.
It really is. I got to step outside a minute ago, going to welcome a guest into the studio, and I was like, I should prop open a window or something. It's just nice out there.
I agree. I wish we could move our committee meeting outside. I guarantee we'd have better attitude.
For sure. Let's talk about that committee meeting. I mean, y'all are underway with the budget talks right now. What are our starting points, and where are we hoping to head?
Yeah, so I guess one of the words I would say for some is that it could be considered boring because we're trying to keep a flat budget, which is very difficult and has not been very successful over the past administration. But Governor Landry has sent us a budget. He's required every year to bring an executive budget that then we look at both on the House side, that's Appropriations Committee, and then Senate side, Finance. And we deal with that bill and fashion it into what everybody just knows as HB1. And so he's made a lot of adjustments downward to hold the budget about as flat as you can hold it. Brian, it's difficult to separate the thoughts nationally than it is on the statewide level because we're required to have a balanced budget every year. And, sometimes we'll see what happens with the feds, but, that'd be way out of balance. And we're never out of balance. No matter how much we spend, we can only spend what's projected by the revenue estimating folks.
We're talking with State Senator Rick Edmonds. Oh, you just opened up so many questions for me right there. When you talk about the attitude nationally, you could be talking about on the spending plan when you talk about a continuing resolution or a full-on budget coming from Speaker Johnson. But right now there's also the Doge thing going on. How much of that sentiment is showing up locally to say, let's just start cutting?
Yeah, I think that there's a pretty good appetite for taking a look at, fraud and waste and abuse. And look, several of us, this is my 10th year in the legislature. And early on, I mean, we brought numerous bills that dealt with efficiencies, and we'd find them either couldn't get them passed or we'd find them vetoed by the former governor. But we were beyond interested then, and still are, in trying to provide for our taxpayers confidence to say, we're going to spend your taxpayer dollars in a very efficient manner. And it's difficult because government just wants to spend money. It's a mindset. It's like, okay, well, we got it. We have to spend it. And,
Right.
In our own lives, we don't really think that way. Most of us don't. If we get mature enough, you might do that when you're younger, but you finally get to the point to say, look, we got to save a little bit. We got to change a little bit, just a little bit. We don't have to have this. But in government, it's, man, gotta buy it, gotta spend it. And I'm just one of those guys that I don't like that particular attitude.
Well, we do have a number of ports in the state, and we do spend like a sailor on shore leave. So I think those two things match up. We got State Senator Rick Edmonds with us. You mentioned the revenue estimating conference, Senator Edmonds. I want to follow up on that because in our last year, we saw that personal income tax would be reduced down to 3% and a little bit of bump in state sales tax. I worry that the job of the revenue estimating conference is going to get a little bit tougher the more that we're reliant upon sales tax, because I mean, how much is going to be based off of just the spending patterns of the populace?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've had a pretty good look at it over the past my 10 years. So I have pretty good confidence that we get the revenue pretty close. You know, a couple of things happen is we create HB1 and then we vote in a budget, and then what happens is hopefully we hold the line and we don't spend everything that's budgeted, and that creates a surplus. And this year we have one of those as well. But sometimes what happens is we over collect because we don't know. You're right. We don't exactly get it right on the nose, and we create an excess. And so we have both of those that we then build back in to a spending. Some of it's constitutionally protected, like it has to go 25% of that surplus has to go to the rainy day fund, and we have to pay off some UAL, which is debt, which by the way, we're pushing. Several of us have been pushing for the past 3 or 4 years. We're paying off as big a chunk of debt for the state as we possibly can to get us some breathing room for the next generation. But that's kind of how it works. I know it's kind of boring or weedy when you start talking about these dollars, but I mean, you do have a good group of legislators that really are trying to hold it as tight as we can and get the most bang for the buck.
What's in my wallet is never boring to me, Senator. And so I'm always going to be dialed in on that front, to be sure. You mentioned the unaccrued liability and paying down debt and whatnot. Are we too soon? Are we too early to tell what kind of movement we're going to be able to make on that front this year?
Well, we are, as it relates to this constitutional amendment. We've got a large amount of money that goes towards paying down on, especially as it relates to the teachers' retirement fund. And so at the end of March, we're looking to be able to eliminate some funds and then to pay off a large amount of debt, which gives more money back to the locals. And that's actually where we're voting for a permanent teacher pay raise, because they'll have the money in their local coffers to be able to pay it, because they won't be paying a note they owe towards debt. And so, you know, you win on both fronts. You pay some debt down and you benefit the teachers. And you know, you also mentioned that we got the personal income tax down to 3%. Look, there's an appetite in this legislature, I believe, with the governor as well. I don't know if we can get it done over the next, year or two, but I think we want to get us completely out. I'd like to see us completely get out of state income tax. But I mean, that's a big step. We still draw a lot of revenue off of that. Can't bankrupt ourselves to do it, but that 3% is a good start. And I think we have a steady idea of getting that below 3, and hopefully one of these days we'll do like some of our other states, get it to 0.
We're talking with State Senator Rick Edmonds about some of the budget talks going on. Okay, Senator Edmonds, we've talked about the revenue side. Let's talk about the spending side. Where are we at with the potential to make cuts within the budget, and how much are y'all hamstrung until March 29th when we vote on Constitutional Amendment 2?
Well, this budget is not included some of that because we just don't have it to do it. It's not in the REC. So there will be some adjustments that we'll have to make. But, there's probably, every agency's made they've made some adjustments downward to the tune of about $350 million, somewhere in that ballpark. Overall, stat debts and everything else. I think joint budget, we got a presentation. It was about $1 billion. So, look, it's a bite is what it is when your budgets are this big. But if I go down the list, and I'm not gonna bore you with it, but every agency was required by an executive order to look for adjustments and make adjustments in their state general fund money. And then behind that, we did some of the same things with other fees and funds and other things. So I think that number, the first number we're looking at, is about $340 million, somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay.
And we're going to look at other savings that we can do through this. We take the month of March and review all of the stuff, and then we take the month of April and try to fashion the actual budget. So who knows? Maybe we'll find a little bit more along the way. That's what we're looking for now.
Got just a couple minutes left with State Senator Rick Edmonds. Talk about the budget talks going on at the state capitol right now within the Senate Finance Committee. The governor presents the budget, and I kind of want to get a little peek behind the curtain here, Senator Edmonds. The governor presents y'all with the budget, and y'all start getting to work on it. How active is his office in helping guide that process? I mean, how big is his voice while y'all are talking?
Yes, so the very first person that presents is Taylor Barra, who's the commissioner of administration, and that's always the way that it is. And they sort of lay out and yesterday they were in front of the committee, and, there's several things we're interested in. I asked the question because nationally we have a lot of people that with the Doge issue is like, are our people coming to work? Are we responding from what happened with COVID? And we got assurances yesterday that our people are on the job. Obviously, there's still some people that are able to work from another venue, but majority of people, they're working. We're functioning correctly. Our agencies understand that they're not to come back to the table and ask for more money and create. It's all about leadership, Brian. If the leadership is pushing for adjustments and they hold the line, then all the agencies don't come. So, and I'm gonna use my word. They don't come whining about it. They understand this is this is what we're trying to do. So we see that right now from the governor's office. That is the attitude we had yesterday in committee, was that this is a budget that we're trying to save some dollars, make adjustments. I asked that specific question: are our agencies going to be on board? And we were assured that they are on board.
Got just a couple of minutes left with State Senator Rick Edmonds talking about the budget talks that are going on right now. All right, y'all started yesterday. Give us an idea of timeline here as to when things get, like you said, you spend March working through the numbers and then actually crafting the legislation once April gets here. But timeline wise, man hours wise, how much committee time is spent over the course of this month?
Oh my gosh, we're in yesterday at least probably 5 hours. So we're talking about today about the same thing, 2 or 3 days a week, probably the whole month. So, 10, 15 hours a week doing nothing, no other subject but the budget, just us. That's where the other committees don't necessarily meet, like finance or appropriation.
Right.
And we'll have all of that done by the 14th of April, because that's when we go in. We'll be ready, and then we'll start bringing people back during the session and asking another level of questions, because that's when we get down to the tedious details of what we have to put in supplemental and what we can, afford to miss out because there's some constitutional commitment we can't miss, or we can't lose a Fed dollar. I mean, it gets pretty specific. We have a great president in the Senate, Cameron Henry, does a great job with our budget. He was the chairman over on the House side of appropriations, so he really stays on top, and we have lots of meetings between now and the time we get to June. We'll have, I don't know how many hours that's going to be. I didn't think I really answered your question, but it will be whatever it takes all the way to the night, if that's what it takes every time. And President Henry does a good job, because that's really that's his forte.
Well, no, you totally answered my question, because all we can know about right now is what y'all handle on the Senate side. Once you hand HB1 back, or once you hand the framework for what will be HB1 back to the House side for them to actually draw it up, I mean, you just flush it all down the toilet and start over again sometimes, but hopefully you give them the right product.
Yeah, we do. Chairman McFarland, friend of mine, and I served with him for 8 years. I mean, we all know the process. We've been doing this for, most of us, we've been doing this 10 years. Yeah. And we pretty much know, what we're doing back and forth. Yeah, there's some difference of opinions, and then we work those out. I mean, everybody can't get every dollar they want. So we work it out. We sit down, come out in the evening. We have to work again, and we just start over. But we don't try to flush the whole thing. No, we'll try to get that thing really close, and then look at the final little details before we get a Senate vote.
He is State Senator Rick Edmonds. I always appreciate the time, sir. We'll get you back on right as session starting if we can.
We'll be ready, man. Hey, go outside and enjoy some of that day.
Hopefully you do as well. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, bud.
See you,
man.
Yeah, we'll see it. Here's news. I set my phone down, so I'm not on Facebook right now. Guys, I've been treading water the last 2 days. I'm so ready. I'm ready for tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's show is where it's at.
Chomping at the bit.
Yep. State of the Union recap from Julia Letlow. We're going to break news with Franz. We're going to break news with Jen Rocca. Tomorrow's show's gonna be fire.
Sounds like it's gonna be electric.
Oh. So before COVID, had a lieutenant governor on. This was in it was in 2020. It was like right before COVID when he went to go pardon. No. It was in 2021 when he went to go. So it was after COVID. He went to go pardon the crawfish, and I decided to do this bit, and he just did not get it the entire time. Like I was flying right past him. I said, "Aren't you worried about like?" I said, "Every year you pardon a crawfish." So if you've ever seen the Thanksgiving episode of The West Wing, when the president pardons a turkey, and then Donna asks him to do it again, and he says, "Want to develop a reputation for being soft on turkeys?" So I asked the lieutenant governor, says, "Aren't you developing a reputation for being soft on crawfish?" So,
Probably thinking, no, not really. No.
I asked him about developing a reputation for, and I also asked him. I said, "So the crawfish is being pardoned. What crime did the crawfish commit? How can you be pardoned if you haven't been convicted of a crime?"
Right. The crawfish is like, I'm innocent. And it was just going over his head. It's just going over his head.
I felt like it was the most awkward shit because like I'm doing a bit and he's dead serious. And I'm like, I told him going in, I was like, and I picked up the phone while we was on hold. I was like, have some fun with this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so now when he does the thing today, I can't help but think that's like a repercussion of a past discussion. He says he's going to get a great life in a state park while the rest of his family gets boiled alive and eaten. Jesus.
Yeah. Love it. Oh,
Good
man.
God, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is mercy.
sure that name the crawfish and fry.
Oh. Now see that
Too much?
it's too soon.
Never too soon.
It's too soon.
Never too soon. I mean, hey, did I also see today is promposal day?
What is it?
It was either today or yesterday. I'm not sure.
What is it called?
Promposal day.
Oh, promposal. Okay. I'm sorry, I got one ear in. Yeah.
All right, time to get a look at your forecast. Here's what we got going on. Bit of a warming trend throughout the week. You got today's highs getting up to 77, overnight low down to 54. Tomorrow's high 78, with an overnight low of 64. We'll be up in the 80s on Thursday and Friday, and then look out Saturday. We've got a 90% chance of rain Saturday, with some pretty severe thunderstorms in the mix as well. We're going to keep a closer eye on that as we move closer to it. If for no other reason than to find out scheduling on the wearing of the green parade. But as it stands right now, 90% chance of rain on Saturday. That's going to knock the temperature down just a little bit because Sunday's high will be 73, Monday's high 69 before it starts to warm back up again. Right now, we're sunny and all the way up to 52 in downtown Baton Rouge. Talk 107.3 presents a weekly conversation with St. George Mayor Dustin Yates, Monday afternoons at 5 p.m. It's called Mondays with the Mayor. You can watch the show each week on the City of St. George's Facebook page, Mondays with the Mayor with St. George Mayor Dustin Yates, Monday afternoons at 5 p.m. on Talk 107.3 FM. The show's kind of been on hiatus a little bit, and I can tell you right now that it won't be back this coming Monday, but the following Monday, we should be back on schedule to talk all things St. George with interim Mayor Dustin Yates. We have former Metro Councilman Darrell Orso joining us in just a little bit. He's now with the Rotary Club in St. George. And speaking of St. George, they've got a candidate forum tonight. In fact, as I understand it, all the candidates involved in council races and the mayor's race will be on hand for tonight's forum. So he's going to hop on the hotline here in just a second to talk about that. While I do have a second before he gets on there, let me remind you about, do you have your lunch plans squared away just yet? The folks at PF Chang's are here for you if you do not. Or if you do have your lunch plans squared away, go ahead and cancel them and go over to PF Chang's. A lot of brand new menu items that you can enjoy. I can tell you this right now. The new sesame beef, like sesame chicken, but with beef on the menu there. I had it last week. It is phenomenal. If you can do crispy beef the right way, it is something special. And then when you add that sesame sauce to it, I got some lo mein on the side, mixed in with a little bit of broccoli there. The sesame beef was phenomenal. Took the family out there last week. Had a great time, as we always do. The atmosphere is wonderful. The ambiance is wonderful. The food is beyond compare, as is the service over at PF Chang's. You know where to find them for lunch or dinner. They're off of Corporate Boulevard in Town Center. Look for the giant golden horse. All right, joining us now from the Rotary Club of St. George is former Metro Councilman Darrell Orso. How are you, man?
Hey, good morning, sir. Doing well.
Glad to have you on here. We're going to talk a little bit about this candidate forum in just a second. But first, I had Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse in the last hour, and he's trying to talk me into getting tased. And you, as a former Metro councilman, are in a unique position to tell me about this because you've been down this path before.
Well, this was 20-something years ago, and we were in the process of approving the tasers for BRPD at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I volunteered to get a little shock. And of course, they didn't shoot me with the prong. They just put it in my pocket in one of my shoe. And they had about a halfway range of the dial set. So, and I think I sent you the picture. You saw the two police officers holding me up. Had they not been there, I would have just fallen back on the floor. So it stings, and you remember that feeling for quite a while.
How quickly does it go away, though? Not the memory, but how quickly does the actual pain go away?
Oh, a few seconds later, a minute at most. So you'll be okay. You can take it.
I'd say no. It's not the pain that bothers me; it's the heart, and I'm being dead serious about that. But
sure, your doctor.
I'm certainly curious to be sure. So since you've traveled that path, I figured I would ask. All right.
Certainly.
St. George elections coming up on March 29th. Early voting opens on Saturday. Your chance to learn more from the candidates coming up tonight. Tell me all about what the Rotary Club's doing.
Well, we are in our 5th year as the newest Rotary Club in Baton Rouge, or East Baton Rouge Parish. Rotary St. George held the forum before, and we are hosting all 11 candidates. That's 2 of them running for mayor and 9 running for 2 council seats. There's 4 running in District 4 of the city of St. George, and voters will select 1 in that district. And then there's 5 running in the at-large race, and voters will select 2 of those 5. So, in Louisiana, you have to get 50% plus 1 to win outright. So it's likely that at least in the at-large and the council seat, we could have a runoff coming up next month. So we're asking the public to come out and listen to these individuals. We have Q&A that will be allowed. The council members, the Rotarians will ask questions, and then we'll open this up to the general public. And everybody who will be in attendance will have a chance if we can get to all those questions. We have to push this back a little bit until 7 o'clock start time, because the city of St. George council meeting is tonight at 5 o'clock. So that's why we have a little bit later time to start this.
And I'm sorry, you may have mentioned it and I just missed it. Where's it going to be at?
The Woodlawn Baptist Church on Jones Creek Road. Pastor Lewis Richardson has been very generous, and he and his staff will be setting everything up today. So we'll have all 11 candidates there. We have a 2-minute introduction for each candidate, and then we're going to go into the Q&A, Q&A to, hear what's important to the people and see what they have to say about why they want to be elected service to the public of St. George.
We got Daryl Orso on with us from the Rotary Club of St. George, talk about tonight's town hall or candidate forum, if you will, for those who are running for either city council or mayor of St. George. Daryl, you said the questions will be asked by Rotary members. Does that mean, well, for those that want to submit those questions, though, how do they go about doing that?
We will have microphones for the public. So we have a list of questions that the Rotary Club and the Rotary members will ask, and then we will go to the general public for them to ask their questions. Anyone who's asking a question, we ask that you limit your question to about a minute or so. Don't go into a big detailed background of why you want to talk about this, but just state the question to allow enough time for the candidates to answer the question. And again, having a 2-hour time slot, with 11 candidates, that's about 25 minutes of opening statements. So then we want to make sure we have enough time to go through as many questions as we can in our allotted time.
When it comes to the parameters of the question, and you don't want to dig, give a full diatribe on the front end, but how do you keep it within the rails to where, say one candidate isn't planting people in the audience to ask the other candidate attacking questions?
We can't control that.
No.
And what we are doing is we have a timer, we have a time response. If one candidate mentions another person's name while they're answering that question, that person will have a 1-minute rebuttal. So we will spend no more than a total of 4 minutes on any one question presented by anyone in the audience, including the Rotarians. We have a timer, we have a bell ringer when you miss your allotted time. We won't turn your mic off, but we will certainly do everything we can to bring everything within the 4-minute time frame.
He is. Oh, sorry. I got one more for you before we get out of here. You mentioned this earlier, the possibility of a runoff in the District 4 race. When you got 4 candidates, it's probable you're going to have a runoff there. I had somebody just message me asking about the at-large council seat. Could you expound a little bit further on how that plays out? Because you're not going to have 50%. It's just the top 2 vote getters.
I will have to double check that and have that answer for tonight. But my understanding, the top for the runoff, you mean? Yeah, the top 2 vote getters would go into the runoff, and that would be the understanding for that. Going back way back when, I don't think we've ever had at-large seats in our local government. So this is a new thing for East Baton Rouge Parish.
It's 5 candidates running for 2 seats.
Right.
So I don't think they would have a runoff there, would they, Daryl?
I will have to get that answer for you.
Well, that's the answer right there. Is show up at Woodlawn Baptist tonight,
7 p.m. We'll have that answer.
We absolutely will have that answer for you laid out at Woodlawn Baptist tonight for the candidate forum, 7 p.m. He is Daryl Orso. We always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for hopping on board.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
You too. Early voting opening up on Saturday. And I'm fully expecting a couple of these races to get pretty heated. It's very easy to sit back and say, how can you expect the city of St. George, which just got formed, to have any major movement when you go from interim candidate to elected candidate. And my answer to that is, this is the first time that as they're coming together, they are now within themselves. Up until now, it's been a unified front with Baton Rouge as the opposition, with the city parish as the opposition. Now it's St. George versus St. George. So you're going to start to see those layers of the onion peeled back to where differences of opinion within their own city are going to come to the forefront. And the hard part for them is going to be, number one, not falling into the small town BS that Louisiana is so well known for. But number two, making sure the eyes are on the prize here, in that as you form your city, you want to stay as close to the original idea that you had when you first went and signed that petition to form the city of St. George. So early voting starts Saturday, but the next 2 weeks for sure, we're going to be hearing a lot about this, not just in that council race, in the mayor's race as well. But 7 p.m. tonight for the Rotary Forum. We got 2 minutes till we hit news. When we come back from, not news, till we hit Your Money Now. When we come back from that, we're going to step outside of East Baton Rouge Parish for the outside in. Before we hit Your Money Now, got to remind you to download the free Talk 1073 mobile app. Find out what you missed each day at talk1073.com and watch us live on Facebook and the Talk 1073 Baton Rouge YouTube channel, all courtesy of Lake Urgent Care. Lake Urgent Care, walk-in care for minor illnesses and injuries. I don't have enough time to start something else before Your Money Now. But yeah, I kind of want to set the table for tomorrow. We're going to talk a lot about the city parish budget tomorrow. It is going to be a very prevalent topic tomorrow. We're going to cover it from Metro Councilwoman Jen Rocca's standpoint. We've been trying to get as many council members in as we can to have the conversation. And Jen's up. It's Jen's turn. And I can't wait to dig in on this, because it is an evolving conversation. And there's a lot that we need to know about some of the moving parts. Last night, I was on Facebook Live. I wasn't doing a Facebook Live. I was watching Facebook Live. And I was watching a town hall forum, or one of the informational meetings, if you will, from the library. Y'all, the BS that there is to unpack from this. To be fair, I didn't watch the whole thing, but while I was watching, I heard the story being told about how they need every dollar and every dime at every turn for things such as revamping the parking lot at the Goodwood Library, because they screwed it up when they built that thing. We're coming up on Your Money Now, but let's talk on Facebook Live during the break. Should we be footing the bill for their screw ups? Yeah. All right, y'all. I asked for the discussion on Facebook Live, so let's just go ahead and have it. All right. One of the things that the library folks were talking about that's going to cost money is revamping the parking lot at the Goodwood branch of the library. The Goodwood branch, the main branch of the library, opened in 2014. We're 10 years removed from this, okay? They effed up 10 years ago, and now they want to pay to have it redone. That doesn't sit well with me. Just like how long did we have to pay for the hydraulic jacks to make sure the downtown library didn't fall over? Because they effed that up too. At a certain point, you have a reputation for effing up. And you keep going back to the public well to say, just keep paying for this shit. Just keep paying for it. We screwed up, we'll fix it. We'll screw it up, we'll fix it. Eventually, that adds to your cost of doing business. And when it adds to your cost of doing business, it adds to the cost that I have to pay when I pay my property taxes. I need to be able to dub audio from Facebook Live while I'm at home. I can't dub it from Facebook Live into my Adobe Audition within the same laptop. I need to be able to send it through a board into, because I can't get here early enough to sift through an hour's worth of audio. I have to know where I'm going and what I'm getting. Oh, shit. Oh. Byron says they didn't have a book on how to lay a parking lot. No, I guess not. And that parking lot is jacked up. It's been jacked up from the start. Everything they said about the layout of the parking lot is absolutely correct. If you're heading on Goodwood, the first opportunity you have to turn in is an exit only lane. You have to pass the exit to get to the entrance. And a lot of people screw that up. And I'm of the opinion that, like, okay, you made your bed, now lie with it. It's inconvenient, yes, but it's not worth spending more money over, especially within 10 years of the damn thing opening. Who else would foot the bill? Santa Claus? Great point, Galen. But my point is, no one should foot the bill because you don't pay it to go and screw it. Like, yeah, you screwed it up, but it's a functioning parking lot. Live with it. We got real shit we need to deal with right now. Our police department's short 150 officers. Hey, you. Doing all right? What you got going this morning? Yeah. You going back up in the air with Condon again? Yeah. I got 4 minutes left. Please. 8:56 to Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Oh, man, I know we need to get to the outside in. I know we're supposed to get to the outside in here. I might bag that just for a couple of reasons. Number one, I was talking about the library system when we went into the break. They had an informational meeting last night. And one of the things that they were talking about the informational meeting was needing to pay for a new parking lot at the Goodwood Library. The Goodwood Library is only 10 years old. You built that maze, you built that labyrinth of a parking lot right at 10 years ago. A little over 10 years ago. It was January of 2014. So I guess technically 11 years old. And one of the things I said going into the break, and I wanted the discussion over on Facebook Live, is as a taxpayer, I don't want to have to foot the bill for this, to go back and fix what you screwed up. Same way I didn't like having to foot the bill for having the downtown library on hydraulic jacks, because that was going to fall over. Great job there, right? Well, Galen said on Facebook Live, who else will foot the bill? Santa Claus? And my point was more to the point, I don't want to have a bill. Yeah, it's a jacked up parking lot, but it's a functioning parking lot. There's nothing actually wrong with the parking lot. It's not like it's full of potholes. It's not like you can't drive through it. You just have to know that if you're going up Goodwood, you have to pass up the exit before you get to the entrance. And then once you get to the entrance, it's very easily navigable at that point. All that's wrong there is you have to pass up the exit to get to the entrance. I don't see why you should have to flatten everything out, remove it all, revamp it, remarket, whatever. There shouldn't be any money to spend on that. It's not a need. And it goes back to the point of the conversation that for the last 20 years, we spent money on things we want while ignoring things that we need. And I think that the library's informational meeting last night is a testament to that. Is a testament. Well, we got to revamp the parking lot at Goodwood. No, you don't have to. You want to. Huge difference. Tell you what you do have to do. Get a look inside of your house. Get a look inside of your office building. Spring cleaning time. Get a little bit of green growing up there, a little bit of mold, a little bit of mildew, a little bit of algae on the outside. You need to call Cajun Soft Wash. Hit them up online at CajunSoftWash.com, CajunSoftWash.com. Let me tell you why you need them. It's not just for your walls. More to the point, it's for your roof. That algae and mildew growing on your roof right now, it's actually reducing the lifespan of your roof. In fact, that which grows in our climate specifically is the greatest hindrance to the lifespan of your roof. Hit up CajunSoftWash.com. You'll learn a lot more about it there. CajunSoftWash.com. They'll do your roof. They'll do your walls. They'll even do your sidewalk. All right. We got to get out of here. Moon Griffon's coming up next. Go back to that Facebook conversation one more time before we get out of here. Angela says, did she say they plan to or just want to? She listed that as a reason why they need to hang on to their money. So, yeah, it's a want for sure. But it's definitely not a need. And it's definitely not a reason to lead with when we're talking about dollars that we are scarce. We got to get out of here. Moon's next. No, I'm responding to Angela right quick. All right. Did she say they plan to or just want to? I don't think it's in the plans right now. To be sure. People want a lot of stuff. Doesn't mean they get it. I'd argue with that, Angela. The library gets whatever the hell they want. They've got the money for it. And I haven't seen one instance, at least not of any significance, where the library has wanted something and not gotten it recently. And I'm not just talking about the Goodwood branch, which is beautiful and I love, or the downtown branch, which is a monstrosity and I hate, or the Fairwood branch, which is beautiful and underutilized, or the Bluebonnet branch, which is nice and properly utilized. So I'd be hard pressed to be convinced of what they don't get. We got to get out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow.